Hit me!
Episode 403.
You've got to throw some cold water on this situation. Start talking about nerd stuff.
You know, nerd culture is mainstream now, so when you use the word nerd derogatorily, it means you're the one that's out of the zeitgeist.
System activate.
Episode 403.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker.
It's a tech podcast.
But we are a ton cooler than your typical geek.
You guys rock.
And now, here's Will and Trent.
No one listens to the radio. I wasn't even listening. I was listening to podcasts. Podcasts are great. Radio's boring.
Yeah, buddy. What is that? What is that radio? I don't know. From No Radio, everybody, welcome another edition of NetHeads, the podcast nobody asked for, but we're more than happy to give to you. My name is Will.
And my name is Trent.
Excellent, Trent. So nice to see you. If you want to take part in the program, you can one of many ways. It's just however you're watching, use the chat option there, guys. That's what you can do. I'll do my best to see them, but I can't give any guarantees or promises at the moment because right now, I'm doing some silliness, Trent. I shouldn't have to be doing silliness, but we got some silliness going on. Now, I'm sure you're very familiar with the fact that for the longest time now, we send this show out to many different places, many different sources, many different streaming options, which just like the MCU did, Marvel Entertainment, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But one of the things we do is we stream out to that TikTok app. I'm sure you're familiar. You might have heard something about it.
Yes, I've heard it exists, and I've heard it doesn't exist.
Yes, it is the Schrodinger's cat of short video formats and content sites. Anyway, Trent, what happened is we'd been using Restream, and they were nice enough to let us stream out to TikTok as well. And then something we said in Trio of Trouble must have gotten us in trouble because I can't go through the Restream channel. Now, I'm if people are on TikTok and they're like, oh, hey, look, those are the NetHeads, I'm seeing them. The reason why you are is because I'm running in parallel to the TikTok Live Studio. So I'm running OBS, I'm running TikTok Live Studio. That's why I justly say maybe I'll see your chat message. Maybe I won't. As ZB says, I just learned Vine is a thing. Yeah, thanks for. And you know, but be sure to make sure to update your MySpace with that information if you can. Anyway, I don't know what we did, but I can still. So if I try to go through Restream, they're like, no, you're suspended. If I try and go through their app, they're like, hey, it's fine. So that's what's happening. But interestingly enough, the way I'm doing that is one of the things that was originally invented as another way to be able to distribute video signals to multiple sources on a network. Because in OBS, I am using the virtual camera, which technically I believe is a network-based transmission emulator of the output from OBS. So I'm like, I talked to Trent here in a Zoom. By the way, Trent, again, so great to see you. Nice to know you're doing well.
Good to be seen.
Thank you. And I run the virtual camera out to you, so you're always seeing the program. So like when I say, hey, Trent, no, and you're talking, now you're talking to yourself when you're looking at your computer, right?
So this is what I was saying. What I was thinking when you were talking, Will, is like it's almost like you're running a parallel universe and then looping that back in to TikTok, you know?
Yeah, except it's going to be all the same stuff. There's not going to be any variations. I'm not going to decide, oh, maybe I should hit this button and suddenly the show goes in a whole different direction on TikTok.
So I can't like hook up with myself and like get it on?
Yeah, exactly. You can't. Not going to happen. I know it's one of those big moments you've been hoping and dreaming for, and maybe that's why we got kicked off of TikTok last time. Anyway,
that's why.
That's what it is. Trent, first of all, I want to talk to you about something that I found incredibly interesting because although we have been friends for more than a decade now,
this is true.
We established NetHeads together as a thing, right? Came together, docking, if you will, two different personalities into one amazing podcast that has gone for over a decade somehow.
I would say it was more like grapevining.
It was like one of those moves right there.
Yeah.
Just like Frank Cross learned in the Kama Sutra. I see what you're doing. All those ages ago, right? We started and now we're here. But we're two different people. You know, you
Correct.
raised on a farm in
Correct. Wyoming.
Wyoming. Okay,
Yep.
and you live in Utah, even though I never got that right in the first moments. Instead, and I am just a suburban kid. You know, although we have a like mind when it comes to the nerdiest of things.
For sure.
And that's where we found our common ground. We're two different people. Now, I revealed to you, much as I did the people on NetHeads last week, that I just bought a new used car. It's new to me. It's a used car. And when I told you about it, the thing that shocked me is, like, if you want to, like, let's play a little game here. Pretend to be yourself on the other side of the text messaging. Because I send you a picture and you said, hey, I did a thing. And it's me in that dorky picture with the ribbon on the car. And I'm standing next to my Ford Maverick.
Yeah.
And I sent you the picture. And immediately, I did not expect this response. What did you say?
Oh, I can't. Was it just like, oh shit, a Maverick or something like that?
Yeah, I've been obsessing about
Dude,
that
I have
truck.
been since before it launched. I've just been watching it and seeing like the market and how people have been reacting to it. Because what America needs is a downsize of vehicles. We need to just get smaller vehicles. It would make everyone so much better. And the Ford Maverick is the first big step, and that's why it's the best-selling truck in America.
It is a compact truck.
Yep.
I have found out. My wife calls it a trucklet. I accept that. But apparently it's a compact truck. Mine is also a hybrid, which was.
Oh, you got the hybrid. Good.
Well, because I'm not. Look, man, if anything happens to my kid's horse, she's got to hire somebody else to haul that thing.
Right.
I didn't want to get into that. I got a tow hitch.
Yep.
And it only has a 2,000-pound tow capacity.
That's
so
plenty.
If I need to bring another Bobcat in to really mess stuff up in the backyard, I can get away with that. But
yeah,
that's about it.
I mean, and worst case scenario, you just make sure you have a double axle trailer, and that'll carry the weight. You just need to be able to stop.
Exactly.
If the trailer's got brakes, you're fine.
Got to balance that whole. By the way, look at the size. This is an insulated cup, by the way.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, oh man, that would kill me in beer pong.
I picked this up in Texas when Blair was born. So
okay,
that's where that comes from. Anyway, so I've had that for over a decade as well. So we've been really broadcasting a long time. Anyway, I was just very surprised that we both were into the same truck. But you know,
dude,
the thing about it is, like, for me, the decision I made about this is because I realized with my kid being 10 and my wife having a Honda CR-V now, I am not a person that is really going to be driving family around. And I'm a person who keeps getting limited by his projects that he starts. And anytime you do a project anywhere, there's always project waste that's got to go to the dump.
Yep.
So I'm like, you know what? I want a truck. I want a smart screen. I want a truck.
Yeah. How about just like every time a season changes, you need to be able to like get all the crap from the yard and take it to the green waste disposal at the dump.
It's funny you mention that because right now, like many people with springtime coming about, there are a bunch of these blossom trees that they got all their petals.
Yep.
But
And they're so pretty. They're so pretty.
And now we're closer to April and like I live in Brentwood and the Brentwood snow has started. Every day I'm out skimming the pool and cursing like a madman.
It's like a flock of seagulls came over and had just like destroyed everything in their path behind them, beneath them.
Exactly. And if I could copy something that I mentioned last week, Trent, the most amazing thing that I did not know about the Ford Maverick. Okay.
Yeah.
And which you would think I would know as the 3D printing enthusiast.
I had no idea either.
They put up to 8 slots in that car that has like a French cleat.
Dude.
And they released the CAD file for what goes in there, so that way you could 3D print your own accessories. If I want,
brilliant.
I could have 2 extra cup holders in
Dude,
the back.
it's so brilliant.
I could print up a nugget holder that holds the dipping cup. Right? And I could have that in the front too, because I also printed up a nice cubby with that adapter spot on the front to go beside the dumb empty spot next to the screen.
Oh,
because they were supposed to have these 13-inch long screens, and instead those weren't available, so they ended up going with 10-inch screens, and they're like, here, you got an extra cubby.
Here's a spot that can almost fit a pair of sunglasses.
Here's an enhancement that we came up with. So I don't know how
but they put the cleat in there for it, though, right? So whatever.
But it's called the Ford Integrated Tethering System. How is it I bought one of the only vehicles that is intentionally made to 3D print accessories, and I did not, because I spent weeks like like studying this thing. Didn't know that.
Yeah,
Only
and that's
because I'm
literally that's the first time I've heard of it too.
And the only reason why I wanted it is because with that cubby that was there, I'm like, I really want my cell phone right there, because if you have driven using Waze and you have a smart screen in your car and you have your phone, it becomes a heads-up next turn display
Yes.
for
Yep.
the entire every one of your turns is right there. So
Right.
if I know I need to make a left, but I'm going to be making a right soon, or do I need to be in the innermost left lane?
Which
or do I need
lane?
to-
Yeah, yep, yeah.
You know
They're
what I mean?
both turning, but is it the right or the center? Yeah.
Yeah, am I gonna? Which one is gonna? Because of that last minute right turn, I don't know
Yep,
about which one.
yep.
Which lane do I need to be in? That kind of thing. So I really wanted that there, and that's how I stumbled across it. I felt like such an idiot.
Oh, it's so
Uh,
rad, dude.
If we could, for a moment, though, talk about extremely old technology here on NetHeads, Trent.
Oh, hey, now
I gotta
let's
share you
get in.
something.
Let's get into the old nostalgia machine.
I got to share you something, okay? As you know, for the past 3 years, well after the pandemic, when everyone else was doing it, because Lord knows I'm not a trend writer and I'm not a trend setter. I started out of my daughter's deep desire to have pizza during that pandemic. I started making
yeah.
pizza dough,
Yeah.
which led me to wanting to be able to make better pizza dough that tastes more like pizza dough and less like cardboard.
Yep.
And that led me to making sourdough pizza dough. Okay? So which means it's like, oh, well, how do I make sourdough pizza dough? Oh, well, you need some starter. Well, what's starter? Thus became an obsession that 2 or 3 years later, here I am.
Yeah.
Now for the longest time, I have been feeding the giving ooze, as we call it, which is my starter. Its official name, by the way, the official name of my starter, because, some like it's Eve, it's Susan, it's Gretchen.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
My starter's name is Self. It's a
Self-starter. Oh,
Trent.
God damn it.
It's a self-starter.
Oh, you got it.
I brought it in here for a specific reason. For the longest time, like a chump, I've been feeding it at a 1-to-1-to-1 ratio.
Okay.
Which means that if I've got 50 grams of starter, I need 50 grams of water and 50
Sure.
grams of flour.
That's
okay?
that's easy math.
Even though technically I tend to go about 10 grams shy on the water, 10 grams heavier on the flour, so that way I get a slightly drier mix. Just slightly.
Sure.
Little more food, little less water. But also, thanks to ZB in the chat who taught me the maths, because I wanted to get into higher ratios, but I only want to maintain a certain amount of starter, and when I'm making bread, I need a certain amount of starter. So if my final number is this, but I'm going to be doing one, like what we're talking about here now. If I'm talking about 1 part starter,
Okay.
10 parts water, 10 parts flour, I need to have 10 left over. What do? How do I get there? Or more to the point
of your start.
More to the point, if I need 200 and I'm
Right.
going to want 10 left over, I'm
Right.
at 210. How do I figure this out?
Right.
And he's like, dude, just like multiply that first one or divide that by the total number. So he's like, take your 210 and divide it by 11, because then you got 1 part. And you know what I mean? Something like
Yes.
that. Look,
Yeah.
let's
I
not
think
worry
so.
about the math now. It's late at night.
Yeah.
But for the longest time, I'd been doing the 1-1-1 like a chump.
Yeah.
Apparently, better flavor when you make this stuff work harder. And it's amazing, too. 10 grams of starter isn't much bigger when poured in the bowl than the size of the NetHeads challenge coin that nobody has still received. Okay? And then 10 parts water, 10 parts flour. You would think, well, the starter has to work that much harder. It's probably going to be a lot slower, right? It's not a lot slower. It just means that,
It's probably yeah, it's just less.
the little bit of starter has a lot more fuel to work through. And I imagine, because, unfortunately, it's bacteria.
Right, yeah.
I imagine that as it feeds, it multiplies and spreads. So, by the time it gets through all that fuel, there's a lot of that bacteria in there.
Yeah.
So that allegedly will give me more of a sourdough flavor.
Flavor to it. Yeah.
But the kicker for me is the fact that, I just did this about 5 hours ago. It was at the 200 line.
Really?
200 line? Where's the 200 milliliter line?
It's
At the 200, it's right here. The 200 milliliter line is where it was. Just a few hours
So it's
ago.
almost doubled.
It's already almost doubled. That's how much
shit.
of a self-starter self is.
Gosh damn it.
Right? So I just wanted to share that because I'm like, oh my God, I still haven't been able to make bread because I need to find out now how long this takes in whatever temperature I'm in, so that way I can start it's ready when I need it.
Right.
Not
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, you want to catch it just like right after its peak. It's just uneaten, so now it's hungry. It's ready to go, man. It's ready to roll. And so I need to get that timing out. But I just, that amazes me. A little bit like that. And no, I'm not playing the game. I didn't make you look. That would have been if I went.
Yeah.
like
It has
this.
to be below your waist anyway. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Interesting.
That was our regional take on it.
Well, your regional take was a lot more reasonable. I would have gotten punched a lot less.
But if I can get my finger into the hole, without looking at it, then I get to punch you.
Yeah, which I don't understand the message we're sending there, but okay. Anyhow, it still just amazes me that it goes from that little bit amount to like going through all of that flour. I don't know why.
Yeah.
You would think a guy of my size shouldn't be amazed at the concept of what being hungry can do for you.
No, but like they're things that we can't, like we could only see with magnification. We can't really see it that well with the naked eye, just the single organism, right? Like but we're seeing its waste essentially.
You know, the thing that I want to know is how did somebody discover this?
Dude,
was somebody making some paste? And
Yeah,
they left it overnight, and they're like, "Holy shit, what happened?"
I think somebody just left some dough out, and they were like, "Ooh, that smells interesting." It's for the poor. Well, it's fine.
Interestingly enough, Trent, that's how corn flakes were born. Cereal flakes were born.
Really?
Yeah, it was. Look, the damn Kevin Smith and the Mark Bernardin and the Ralph Garman got to me, and I've been watching History's The Foods That Built America.
Oh, yeah.
One of the most amazing docu-series out there, you know, because of the ridiculous reenactments that they put together for these type of things. But yeah, apparently John Kellogg ran a sanitarium, which at that time was for people getting healthier, and he came up with the concept of granola. And his brother is like, we're leaving money on the table, no pun intended, not selling this.
Yeah.
So he's bitter about it, and then one day some of the granola was left out too late. And he's like, well, let's not waste it. Just roll it real thin. So they end up putting it through one of those crank rollers.
Like a mill.
And that's how they learned that it would flake. And so that's how we got cereal flakes. It is amazing to find out some of these things. Like, I always thought Hershey, Pennsylvania was named after the fact because the chocolate got so famous. But Hershey, Pennsylvania was built as a town to support the factory that was built by the dairies so that he could have the milk to make the milk chocolate.
Whose name was Hershey?
His name is Milton Hershey.
His
name is Milton Hershey. And he is about to create the most popular chocolate in the world.
But before he was a household name, he was just a dairy farmer
who had no idea. He built all this stuff not knowing how to come up with a milk chocolate using not using non-pasteurized milk, but instead of using milk powder, because he was like, no, I want to use the fresh milk. He was
right.
He's like, let me tell you something about whole milk, okay? You won't just live on it. You won't just survive. You will thrive.
You will thrive
on whole
on
milk.
And now we're dealing with big dairy,
right? Look, man. Don't mess with big dairy. You don't want to do that. Matthias wants to know, how often does Will stream? Funny you mention that. Typically, we are now Sundays, 6 p.m. Pacific. We've gone back to our roots. However, yesterday, my niece Kara turned 30 years old. So we were at a party for her.
Wow.
And this kid was so classy. There were parting gift bags.
Oh, dude.
And in each one of them, because she's a vegetarian or a vegan, one of them. But she gave this delicious salted dark chocolate bars that had none of the bad stuff, not even refined sugar or anything. Tasted amazing.
Yeah.
The other thing in the gift bag was some type of balm. I don't know whether it was a foot balm, a lip balm, or a bomb.
Don't try to eat it because it's not a bonbon.
No, and it wasn't a sex bomb. Shout out to Scott Pilgrim. But the last thing that is the last thing we need in this house, but I was so thankful for, is new coffee mugs, nice round cappuccino style
You
coffee
can, dude.
mugs.
You can never have too many coffee mugs. Like seriously.
My cabinets would tend to disagree with you, sir, because there are coffee mugs in 2 of them now.
As long as you have a cabinet, you're not hoarding. Okay?
Okay.
It's when you can no longer sustain a place for it, then it becomes a problem.
I'm the problem. It's me. Just so you know.
Dude, I am blown away at the like just thoughtfulness and the like creativity that people come up with, and it makes me feel like the worst host ever when I go somewhere and they're like, oh, here's this, just a little something to say thanks, and you're like, it's you. We're here to celebrate you, and I'm getting more than I gave.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. Before I got here, it was a last-minute scramble for a card and obviously a thoughtless trip to the ATM for the couple shekels that are in there for you. But, you took the time to go to a store.
I know.
For your birthday party.
Dude.
And get things, and then assemble the bags, wrap the things in the tissue paper.
And they're so cute and thoughtful and like,
I know. I'm a
Yeah.
gigantic dirtbag. Thank you.
Yep.
And obviously it is not the type of thing we think of because of how amazed we are when they do that.
I know, like it blows me away in both the holy shit, this is rad, and the I am a human dumpster fire at the same time.
Exactly. But Trent, one of the ways that you can actually make yourself be better, okay? One of the ways that you might be able to help your mind think of these things is a beautiful little green bottle. It's called Magic Mind, and I got a bottle of it right here. Look at that beautiful green tint that comes from, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the ceremonial matcha that's in it. That ceremonial matcha, I believe,
Makes sense to me.
Helps for concentration and energy. It has got. Do you know what else it's got in it, Trent?
I'll bet it's got some vitamins in it.
It does. It has B3, B something, and B12. It's at least got B12 in there. It's got all the Bs that give you energy.
Well,
so it's got those in it.
B3 is the one that converts things into energy.
Ding! And it's also got the lion's mane mushroom. It has got the cordyceps mushroom.
Okay.
And those help with your concentration and your focus. And for calming energy, it's got, I think, L-theanine, and it also has, I'm going off of memory when I got a card right here, but it also has turmeric in it, which is supposed to help to calm you, but also is a traditional anti-inflammatory. In other words, Trent, it's an entire bottle of non-Western medicine. And meaning specifically, this is good stuff, but it's not medicine and it's not Western beliefs of like, here's a pill to treat your problem kind of thing.
Right.
As a matter of fact, the person, and you can relate to this as much as I can, Trent, as a guy that has over a dozen ways to make coffee in his house right now. The person that came up with this idea was a person, I can't remember their name, but like essentially they were told by their doctor that they had to cut back, they had to be calmer, less stressed, and less coffee in their life. So he's like, well, there's got to be a product to help carry coffee out longer and better forming.
Right.
And that's how they came up with Magic Mind. But they put all these wonderful focus items into it. Now, if you're wondering, does the Magic Mind work? It's 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Pacific time on a Monday. I had a crappy night of sleep last night, Trent. But you know what I did mid-afternoon? Just as my coffee was crescendoing, I actually took me some Magic Mind, and here I am at 8 p.m. I'm shot out of a cannon. Now, let me tell you, if you use my code, which is NetHeadLT20 at magicmind.com/NetHeadLT20, sure, you can get a 20% discount off a single purchase. However, you can get 48% off a subscription. And I'm telling you now, if you try it, you're going to want that subscription because not only do you have a bigger savings, so you got a better value, but mind you, also, you could utilize that savings if you got that flexible spending account or the health spending account.
Oh, that Wex card, baby.
You could use that beautiful pre-tax dollars to get yourself this. Try it out. There's no harm in trying it out, starting out with the subscription. Get that box of 15 or 30 and see. It's got a satisfaction guarantee.
Dude, I'm telling you, the thing about once your body gets an infusion of like that good stuff that it hasn't had regularly, you notice it. You're like, oh gosh, oh my God, what this is it. This is the thing I haven't had forever.
Yeah, magicmind.com/NetHeadLT20. Use the code NetHeadLT20. Get 48% off of your subscription. I'm not kidding. If I have a groggy, shitty morning and I got a shitty attitude, if I get my coffee in me and I also have my magic mind, I have a productive day. Because let's face it, there are days you're just staring at the screen.
Mhm.
You're drooling.
Mhm.
You're
Yep.
moments away from drooling.
You
'Cause
can't even look at the clock.
You're
It's
like
that bad.
I have right now. I'm a spreadsheet. I have to spreadsheet, but I can't spreadsheet right now.
There's no
then you
spreading.
take your magic mind. A little while later, you're like, you know what? Bring them spreadsheets on.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. I can
Yeah,
even put together a complete sentence now.
I'll find the hidden emulator inside of Excel. Yes, it's there, folks.
Exactly. Magicmind.com /NetHeadsLT20 guys. The reason why I became a ambassador for this product is because I do actually believe in it. It's very hard for me to shuck and jive for something I don't believe in. And this I do. And it also tastes damn good. And, you know, also, if you do want to get exploratory, too, at the beginning of the year, we were also talking about their sleep enhancement formula. I might not have had a crappy night's sleep if I had been...
Yeah.
So anyway, just keep that all in mind. But let's set that aside now, Trent. We've talked about the truck. We have talked about the sourdough. We're going to deviate from the technology for just a moment because I got to get your opinion on something.
Okay.
Because in the world of kayfabe,
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
In the world of wrestling,
Yeah.
just like was told to us by Harvey Dent,
Uh-huh.
you're either the hero or you live long enough to become the villain.
We never thought it would happen, but it just happened.
And what is that, good Trent, sir?
Ba-ba-dum-bum. Ba-ba-dum-bum. John Cena sucks. John Cena sucks.
Okay. What is your take on the heel turn of John Cena?
Brilliant, because we've all said make him a heel, and they're like never gonna happen. Nudge, 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 nudge. It's wrestling. Everything's gonna happen eventually. It finally did, and it. Oh, dude, he's the best because he's so good. He can be the best heel ever.
I even as a person who doesn't watch wrestling, I almost have to wonder how much, because, you know, anytime you see John Cena on a talk show,
Right.
except for the brief amount of time he was appearing as Peacemaker in the costume.
Oh, gosh. Yes.
He's in the three-piece pinstripe.
Just as classy as he gets.
Dapper Dan.
Yep.
You know, he's a Dapper Dan man. You know what I'm saying, Trent?
God damn it. He doesn't want fop.
Exactly. He is bona fide. All right? Interestingly enough, over the past couple of years, right, every time he's been on a talk show interview, it's always kind of like, well, was he invited to this event? He wasn't invited to that event.
Right.
You know, wrestling has always been good to me. It's my home. It's my first love.
Yep.
And,
Yep.
you know, I'm just happy to be involved. However, it almost appeared like they were giving a bitterness narrative outside of the ring. I
Right.
almost wonder how much of that went into the story.
Was like, yeah, and that's just it, dude. Like, oh gosh, I'm just in awe of him. He is on the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling. We will look back and he will be right there in Teddy Roosevelt's spot, man. He is just so good, and he brings. I think it's not unlike when The Rock has come back, or even when Batista came back. More so even for him though, because he's still wrestling. Whereas The Rock came back kind of like as like a, oh, hey, I'm The Rock. I'm here. Let's get the ratings up. Or, hey, I'm Batista. I've got a movie to shill. I'm back. No, like John Cena's back to wrestle. Like he's here to compete, i.e. be on the show. And he brings with him this like Hollywood schmarmery, if that's a word. Like he's been out there.
Now.
You know what I mean? He has more heavyweight championships than anyone else ever. So like he can just come in and he is the old dog in the locker room now, right? He's been around long enough that he, you know, he's the guy. I mean, the Undertaker's gone, everyone else kind of died. So
Oh
yeah.
my God. Thanks for the harsh reality. You know, I am a person that is obviously not really ever been into wrestling. And
Yeah,
please
right.
don't hold that against me. I'm still a good person.
Never could.
goddammit.
Never could.
But I will say that what I have, the John Cena that I know, is just so damn endearing because he recognized that in order to get into Hollywood, there were some concessions he was
Totally.
having to make, and he
Yep.
he not only was perfectly okay playing the fool time and time again, but doing it just gloriously, like
Dude.
fully embracing it.
Oh, his SNL, the times he's hosted SNL, the sketch where he is like the defending his thesis to graduate, and he's the science aspect. He's like, this here's a banana, this here's an orange. They're different. And he's just so proud, and he's like, because he's ready to go play football, coach. I'm here to play football, but I'm doing my homework too. Like he just leans into it so perfectly, and the genius of it is, the dude is smart.
Yeah.
He is like wickedly smart. He when the WWE opened up kind of feelers to the Chinese market, he was there representing the company, and the guy I was working with at the time, who is fluent in Chinese. He watched it and he's like, oh, like he speaks Chinese. That's not just like memorized. He's like, you can tell he understands what he's saying. He's not like memorized it. He's creating syntax as he goes. Like,
right.
There's a great GQ interview, video interview they did with him, and he just kind of goes through like his daily schedule. And boy, man, he does more before he leaves for work in the morning than I could hope to accomplish in a week. Like, he's just one of those guys that's just like driven, like not unlike The Rock, right? Same idea. Like those two guys are cut from very similar jibs. However, since The Rock kind of has embodied the heel for so long before he left, I mean, this is the first time Cena has ever like to the point where like I'm sure there were children's grown men's childhoods have now been ruined.
You know,
because he turned heel. That's the kind of impact this has. It's so big.
But even from the outside, not knowing anything about the industry, it's like this is a cycle that has played out time and time again. Hulk Hogan was the hero, then he became the heel.
Totally.
You know what I mean? It's like, what do you mean Hulk Hogan? Why does he have a blonde mustache but a black beard now? Or was it the other way around?
No, that was right. Yeah, that was right.
Like, what is going on? What is this?
But that was an equally big in significance, right? Because Hulk Hogan had carried the WWF at the time for so long, and then we all expected him to, assume that same role in a new company, and took that opportunity to not.
I think the best ways to see John Cena outside of wrestling, to understand how committed this guy is and the reason why he earned my respect, you first have to see the movie Blockers, okay? And actually, and in the order even that they were made, I think if you see the second attempt at a Suicide Squad movie, and then you see the movie Blockers and see him being this just over patriotic
the
asshole,
Patriot,
in one role,
the Peacemaker,
and then in the other being this fastidious sports dad to a daughter who, like she's all overachiever, but he's also the kind of guy who he's come to your party, but he's doing the dishes afterwards. You know what I mean?
He really is. IRL, he totally is.
Yeah. And it's just like, that's where you're just like, look how fully committed. Like, there was even that terrible lottery movie on Amazon last year with Aquafina, where essentially they live in a world where things were so economically depressed, in order to get the populace to get money back into the government and get reinvested in itself, they create a lottery where you're hunted for 24 hours, and if you get the time, you win, but if somebody kills you, they win. Right. And Aquafina accidentally stumbles into being that person. And so there are people that professionally will protect those people for a percentage of the prize. So if I get you to the end, it's a win-win. I have every interest in you winning and defending you from these people. Yes, I could just as easily do it right here, right now, but that demonstrates my commitment to this. Yeah. And I just got to say that there was one highlight in that movie, and it was John Cena. That was it. Okay. Well, actually, correct me. Simu Liu was also in there, and he was great in that as well.
Well, and I think he kind of it's funny because he's in a lot of those like one-off like things, right? There was even that That movie that I wanted to see until I saw all the reviews and was like, "Oh, no, don't say that." He with the Sam Rockwell, it got really bad reviews. Came out last year anyway. But he's been, if you look at his IMDb, he's been in a ton of movies.
Mhm.
And I think it's smart for him, especially for someone who's come into acting or Hollywood, let's say, feature films, a non-traditional way. He's getting his reps in. It's just like wrestling.
Exactly.
Right? The more matches you have, the more practice you have, the better you're going to get at it. And so he's just been in as much as he possibly could, and he's gotten a lot better.
Yeah, I would completely agree, and that's that's the only way you're going to improve your chops.
Totally.
Look, man, you're not going to grow if you don't put in the reps. Okay.
Yep.
So that's how it happens. And he's clearly had fun with it along the way as well. So.
Not to mention, holds a record that will never be beaten in the most Make-A-Wishes granted for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Right?
Again, we're just terrible people, Trent.
I know, dude.
We're just horrible.
But to be fair, no one wants a wish from you and me.
No, I know that.
So maybe we're batting 1,000 at this point.
But we could help donate money to help the kids with the
Right,
wishes.
right. Yeah. Well, and it's funny because like if you go to and this, I would love to be ringside for a WWE show now, especially because a lot of I've seen happen many times where a wrestler who is a heel will come out and he'll like glare and look at a kid and be like, nice shirt. Thanks for coming out today, kid. And so the cameras can't see what he's saying. And he looks like he's like talking trash to him, but he's like saying something nice to him or along those lines. I'm sure he's totally going to do that.
It's undoubtedly. It is destined, my friend.
One last thing on the John Cena thing.
Okay. Why not?
Were Vince McMahon Jr. still at the head of the company, I don't think we would have ever gotten the John Cena heel.
Was there a conflict there?
He was very adamant that was never going to happen. Publicly, he said it. Whether or not, you could never. It's all wrestling. But like always, whether it was a shareholders meeting or anything along those lines, he was always just like, nope, John Cena is who he is. He's the face of the company. Why would we want to mar our own face, blah 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 blah. Now that he's no longer in the picture, smart move.
ZB in the chat wants to know if you were thinking of the movie Argyle.
Yes, that's exactly.
You know what? I'd still encourage you to take it in.
Okay, dude, I'll watch anything with the Sammy Rockwell in it. I mean, come on.
It is very watchable, and as
Okay.
a person that, as I often have told you, you've heard way too many damn times. I get very annoyed when I go to stories, and I know where things are going. I'm able to determine things. Any movie that can pull one over on me,
yeah,
I enjoy, and I did enjoy Argyle.
Okay,
and that's all I'll say about that.
All right,
not to spoil a movie from last year.
Right, yeah.
Heaven forbid we get into something like Endgame. Oh shit! What happened this last week, Trent? I don't know if you were aware of this.
Endgame happened a while ago. I even saw that.
It did, but the next big Avengers movie is Avengers Doomsday.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, okay.
Last week, I have no idea about the timing, and I think it was on Thursday. It might have been on Wednesday. All I know is I was scrolling the old Tic Tac thing.
Sure.
And I come across this creator. His name is Soups. And he's like, I can't say what it is because I don't know what it is, but Marvel is going to make a big announcement tomorrow, and it's going to break the internet. Break the internets, he says. I think. Hopefully I'm not falling into hyperbole. So I'm like, okay, I wake up that morning.
Yeah.
And instantly I'm like, okay, what's Marvel up to?
What broke?
And I go to Marvel's account.
Yeah.
And all I see is a director's chair with the name Chris Hemsworth on it. So I'm like, okay, what is this?
Wait,
and I
what?
look at the description, and it turns out they're announcing the cast of Avengers Doomsday. So what they're doing,
okay.
it starts out with nothing, and then we see soundstage doors open in the background. So dark,
okay,
burst of light. Let there be light, Trent.
Yes.
And
there was light.
Somebody comes walking in. Can't tell if they're in a suit, a track suit.
Yeah.
Just
a
maybe
shadow.
their shirt. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, just
And
a
they
silhouette.
sit down a directions chair, and it says Chris Hemsworth. Now, Trent, I got to tell you, I understand why they did what they did in the era that we now live in. But what then proceeded to roll out was a 5.5 hour live event where every 7 to 20 minutes, let's say 7 to 15 minutes, another chair comes out, right?
Wait,
With another name. And it doesn't even come out. Suddenly you'll
was
hear
it silent?
No. There is this just droning kind of thing.
But there's no dialogue going on at this time. There's no like interview
no
or
dialogue.
hype or
You
anything.
hear
It's
that
just
right before a chair shows up, you will start to hear some musical theme of
of
who's
the
being
character.
announced.
Sure. Yeah.
And so you start to hear that. So first of all, it does become a fun little game of name that tune.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And I sort of respect what they did because this was the perfect type of media for people to have just running in the background while they're working.
Yep.
Because it was a nice little drone to feed the tism, if you will, or
the second screen viewing is a very natural thing in this day and age.
right. And with this, it's not something that required your attention until you finally heard some music.
Oh, and then you can be like, okay.
Oh, what is that? What is that?
Yeah.
And but I have to say that I did obviously because that I came in when I did end up having that running on the second screen. I did not actively watch it all day, but it did provide me a nice little droning noise that quieted the tinnitus in my ear.
Uh-huh.
You know, it was something else to listen to. There was only one payoff, though, okay? There was only one where I was like, oh, that was clever. And it's this clip right here, okay? Let's get it started. Hey, what happened to Trent? He got all tiny. So there's Letitia Wright's chair.
Okay.
And when you start to hear, because Trent can't hear this, guys, but then you suddenly start to hear dun 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 dun, which, by the way, that's a pretty impressive rendition, I think, of my own. Here it's playing now. But this was the only really clever moment of it, okay?
Oh, I get it. Yep, I already know. Yep. God damn it, that is good. That is very, very good. The Polly Rudds.
He's got a wee little chair.
He'll be crying himself tonight on his huge pillow.
He's gonna cry himself on his giant stack of fat cash. And there's the droning. Like if you play it back later, or it's not anymore. So anyway, so that's what it was. Just that.
So was there any kind of reveals then in the casting that were like, oh shit, there's going to be like Fantastic Four characters in this, or
oh yeah. The
okay,
Fantastic
cool.
Four characters were spread out. Started with the Invisible Woman, and then I think we got the guy playing the Thing about like a third of the way through. The next third of the way through, we got Johnny Storm, and then
nice.
Pedro Pascal was the next to last name revealed. Notably not within the list that I could immediately think of. Pretty much anyone on the Disney Plus show.
Okay.
They pretty much weren't included there.
Okay.
The actor that plays Taskmaster, actress, depending on which way you want to say it, they weren't present in there.
So did they have villains in the lineup?
Well, only one. But nary a Hulk to be seen, you know?
Interesting.
Hawkeye. But you got to remember, after Avengers Doomsday, there will be one or two MCU films, and then there will be Avengers Secret Wars.
Right.
So just like with Infinity War and Endgame, because you didn't see Hawkeye in Infinity War.
Right.
No, wait a minute, you did.
No, he was, oh yeah, no, we did.
He was briefly.
Yeah, it was that whole we're going to make you care about this character because maybe they're not going to be around much longer. Oh, no, they have a family.
I was thinking of Civil War where he shows up and he gets Wanda. That's how much those movies are conflated in my head.
It all came out like boom, 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 that they all kind of mashed together.
So I understand that, and I think like some people have speculated, well, we didn't see like Chris Pratt or Tom Holland because they have shooting schedules right now. So
right.
And
And I mean, technically, can they? Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's one way, but not the other. Tom Holland can come over and play, but they can't go over and play with Tom Holland.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, no,
I mean, Doctor. Yeah,
Marvel,
I mean,
Marvel
yeah.
and Kevin Feige, they were the ones. They're like, you can have all the other Spider-Man IP, but make sure we get to work on
We
the
can
Spider-Man
use.
stories.
Yeah.
And they have a certain film commitment that they get to use Spider-Man as
Right,
well. So it's
right.
like, well, do we want to burn it on this one? No.
No,
Save it
no.
for Secret Wars.
Yep.
That's where we'll bring the Venom
Yep.
symbiote in, like in that original run.
Oh, dude, they better. But I mean, maybe they'll come up with a better way for him to get the costume than a cosmic vending machine.
Maybe that would be nice. Well, it wasn't a vending machine.
It was straight up. It was a vending machine. He like puts quarters in, and it comes out.
I don't remember the quarters. I remember they walk up to the space and I remember Cap fixing the shield because it was broken and he's like thinking real hard and putting all of his wish and desire in it, and somewhere everyone was clapping, Tinkerbell lived, and then the shield is fixed. But
yeah,
then,
right.
like
yeah.
Spider-Man's like, oh, I want a new suit. At the same time, some alien ooze decided, hey, what's up?
Yep.
Boom.
Yeah.
And that's how he got the costume. As I read originally when I was 13, now I'm 54 years old, so let's not discuss that.
Dude, have they, I mean, I know this is a movie in advance, but have they announced a Beyonder who's going to be the Beyonder?
I highly doubt they're going to go the Beyonder route. I don't remember which one of my damn co-hosts I said this to now.
Yeah.
Because you stuck me in this world where you got to have a life and I got to have two different hosts.
Right.
Now I've got did you ever watch the Batman 66 TV show on reruns as a kid?
Oh,
was that a thing for you?
Absolutely. It was on syndication right after school for me.
And you never knew what episodes you were going to get. And it was
And you were
always like
always,
the same one. And you're like, oh, is this the one with Batgirl in it? Is it going to be a Batgirl episode?
Yep.
Now I got that going on with my intros. People knew from the beginning, oh, it said Trent Hunsaker, he's going to be here. I don't remember which one of you I said this to, but like in the justification in the MCU world of trying to determine why we had to have Eternals,
Yes.
other than that the solidified Celestial plays out in Captain America: Brave New World, which had neither a brave nor new world.
New World.
I still enjoyed it, okay, but it just,
Right. Yeah.
it wasn't the thing that I thought Marvel would be striving for to re-solidify themselves.
Right.
Anyway, in the concepts of trying to understand why we have to have Eternals. Now, mind you, this all goes if we're talking about Secret Wars version 1, because years
Not
later
Secret
they did-
Wars 2. Right.
which I know nothing about except Doom was involved
Yes.
in that.
Yeah, because and that's how Secret Wars ended eventually, was that Doom ended up taking the power of the Beyonder and
Yeah,
freeing
in the
it and
first run.
freeing everyone. Yeah.
No, he became the bad guy. Then they had to defeat Doom instead.
Right, yeah.
And I think they short circuit. No, it had to involve the Molecule Man.
Yes.
Look, we're getting way too damn deep. Okay, we got to crawl our way back up. The
Yeah,
whole point is,
they harness him like a nuclear reactor essentially. But,
yeah, the reason why we have to have Eternals is because you remember Tiamat is, I think it's Tiamat, is passing judgment on humanity. Why did you, my creations,
right.
betray a Celestial for these people? They're now in judgment. So I figured that's why we had to have Celestials, because then they could say, we've determined in the final judgment, we must understand if man is good. So all of the perceived good and bad
Interesting.
superhumans, you will decide the future of, you will decide humanity.
Yeah.
Except now they've brought Doom in, so I have no idea.
So maybe it could even maybe be like a mashup of Secret Wars and Contest of Champions.
Maybe.
Which, but that was all led by, which I would love to see a Maestro come in, who's like the future version of Old Man Hulk, who's grizzled and like hates everyone and like, but really smart. The merged personalities of Banner and the Hulk.
By the way, did you see any of the Spider-Man animated cartoon on Disney Plus, the new one that's kind of like
it's in my queue. I
multiverse
literally
one?
just saw that it came out.
I don't mean to tease
Or not
you,
that it
but
came out. I just saw that it was a thing.
there is a variation of what we would consider the Future Foundation costume in there, which I found very gratifying.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down my favorite Spider-Man costume,
Right?
without
Me
a
too.
doubt.
I mean, other than the fact that it's horrible for anything stealth in
Oh, right,
in
yeah.
concept,
Yes,
Look,
yeah.
I'm saying I've got the skin in Fortnite, and I don't play it anytime
Because-
I'm competitive, because I'm just
Right.
like, hey, look, unless I'm playing in a snow region, I'm a white thing on a green dot. Please don't kill me.
A few years ago, Roberto Ramos, who was a longtime artist for Spider-Man, was in Salt Lake, and I got a commission from him, and I was like, oh man, would you do a Future Foundation Spider-Man? And he was just kind of like aghast, like nonplussed, like I would love to. Literally, no one has ever asked me to do that before. And I'm just like, what? Oh, it's so great. It's all built around negative space. It's beautiful.
I just got to tell you, you're making me feel a lot better for getting older and retelling stories, because I'm telling you right now, every time I bring up that Future Foundation
Do I
costume,
have to recant that story?
yes, Dad, you do. You do.
But it's also why I personally love the later in the all the different symbiotes, is it what's his name, Toxic? I don't remember. Eddie Brock eventually becomes Anti-Venom. That's who it is.
Anti-Venom, yes.
Yeah, where he's all white instead of black. And I think the
dig
costume
that
just
one
looks
too.
so good. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, there is something about the use of inverting the negative space.
Yeah, man. Especially once it's something you've seen for so long, that just to see it just a little tweak like that, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, somebody on Reddit pointed out in speaking of costumes, spoiler alert, in Invincible, the kid hero, he switches to a blue and black costume, which when you go negative view on that is the white and red of his dad's costume.
Yes.
So
Oh, I didn't even catch that. That's so smart. Yeah.
But but all I know is that people said the costume's black and blue, and I saw golden
And gray. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
so weird.
Anyway.
Dude, oh, remember when that was the thing that tore America apart?
Is it blue and black, or no? All I saw was white and gold. I don't know what you're talking about. That's what it was. It was white. We're talking about a dress, everybody. Now we're explaining memes from the old days, like a bunch of elderly gentlemen.
Simpler times.
We're gonna be
Simpler
sitting
times.
on the porch, sipping on a mint julep, laughing
Yep.
about Hawktua one day, Trent. That's gonna be us. Just like you remember. Hold on a second. Let me shoot this malcontent. Hey, you remember Hawktua? That was funny.
Oh,
Do you remember the
God damn it.
emotional damage? You remember? Oh, that was so good. Trent, can you?
Yeah.
I can't see anymore, but could you describe to me what it was like when people would do that funny thing about like one of us is possessed by a owl? Who? That's the thing.
It's when you and I turn into the Too Much Tuna guys from Kroll Show.
Actually, I just kind of envision us eventually becoming the old guys from the Muppet Show.
Oh yeah, Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah, which oddly enough, are those the same names that became the characters in the Eddie movie Money Eddie? Wow,
Eddie Murphy movie
on.
Money.
Am I smiling? Okay, I don't smell burnt toast.
No, yeah.
The Eddie Murphy movie, the one with the Ghostbuster.
Ernie Hudson.
And the two rich guys bet that they can destroy Dan
yeah.
Aykroyd.
Oh shit. Give me a second. It is. It's not Brewster's Millions. But it's
that's
not
the one
unlike
with
that.
Richard Pryor.
It's
Trading Places.
Trading
Oh my
Places.
gosh.
There we go. Yep, you got it. Trading Places.
Moments like that, you just know if anybody's listening to your podcast, you've just had a person screaming at you for the last
Just going
20
like
seconds.
they knew it the second you said that Eddie Murphy, and they're like, oh, Trading Places, and we're
Trading
like,
Places.
oh, what
Never
the
mind.
hell?
That's eventually what we're gonna become, but that's not the point. That's not the
Yeah.
point.
Named after the hotels in New York.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Absolute perfect sense. ZB finally chiming in with Trading Places. We got there, buddy, but thank you.
Thank you.
God bless the delay. God bless the internet delay. Everyone. And our good friend, of course, Self-Starter. Hey Trent, do you have any editing projects tonight? As I see you pour what suspiciously
you know
maybe
what?
like coffee.
You know what I'm actually gonna do tonight? I set some time aside for this evening. I'm gonna work. I'm gonna treat myself. Treat yourself. So I created, and this was no small task, a giant spreadsheet of all the Marvel 3 3/4 inch figures as they were released and their variants over the span of 6 years that they were released. So I'm going to go through my collection and I can check off everyone that I've got. And then at the same time, I'm going to use my Fancy Brothers printer to print off the logo of each character to then put on the front of their little stand. So that's
Aw.
that's actually what I'm going to be doing. I'm really excited about it.
Oh, I'm amped for you, sir.
Like I just got Pile Driver in the mail.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Well, so I'm
I'm
just Thunderball away from having the Wrecking Crew.
I'm so excited for you, sir. That is thrilling. It's
I'm
funny
an adult.
because, well, and you have adult money, and you're able to get adult things with it now, like this.
Yeah.
Listen,
These are my adult toys.
I actually have Hollywood Babylon to edit, which is it's a really fun project now because the audio cues that are present in the show and used, because it's got a lot of playback, so
Right.
there's a lot of video clips, there's music, all that jazz. That's not so much in the audio track. So every single element of multimedia that gets played, I have to synchronize. And if it's not at 48 kilohertz, I have to convert it to 48 kilohertz.
Yep.
So that way autosync might have a chance of working.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining about the work. I'm just saying I got a little bit of shit to do.
You got, yeah. And then if, oh gosh, so many times where say like I'm not recording or however the TriCaster set up, I wasn't getting the system audio from the computer from the presentation. So I have to just go back and use OBS and capture it from YouTube that they were playing and then drop it back in.
I mean, that would be nice. There are a lot of ways this could easily be mitigated. But
yes.
Again, I'm not complaining, but it's something I've got to do. But the other interesting thing is I'm really glad we got to do this tonight because we are on the eve of the stupidest day on the internet. Tomorrow is April 1st.
Oh, shit.
But, let me just say, keep an eye on Kevin Smith's socials around 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Okay.
And
Okay.
let me also say, it's no joke. I don't often have the balls to say I know something.
That you know something.
But I know something, so I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
You're just saying. Just saying.
You're gonna see something.
Okay.
It's not a joke.
Okay.
I want to put that out there. But no, while I'm doing that editing, I'm also going to be doing something that I'm very frustrated by. Let me tell you a little story.
Yeah.
About an idiot person that decided to make his home a smart home. Started putting in smart light bulbs in rooms to help illuminate them.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
illuminate them,
With,
right?
with a full color spectrum.
I could be downstairs. I could say a specific phrase and walk into a lit bedroom, for example, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did that with the kitchen. There's some in the master bedroom. There are even some here. When I always say, backdrop on and all of the wonderful colors you see behind me, that's all lit up effect mostly. There's different colored lights projecting. I'm a big addict of the smart home technology.
Absolutely. The Internet of Things.
However, the IoT.
Yes.
Well, it's getting to be an IoT pain in the ass for me. Because, by the way, the one villain that was announced in the Marvel Terrors, it was Robert Downey Jr. We already knew that was
Doom.
coming. But he also showed up for a heartbeat and a half in it. Enough to walk in along all the chairs, sit down, lean back, tell us to shush, and then walked the heck off. Like, that was it. It's like, you've waited 5.5 hours for 5.5 seconds of Downey. And say thank you, peasants. Right?
Quick non sequitur. He was on a season of Saturday Night Live, 1984.
That is correct. Which you can find in Trent's favorite channel for his pets, the SNL Vault. Listen,
the SNL Vault.
Let me tell you another scenario now. Okay, I have a daughter that's 10 years old,
Right.
fiercely independent child. Always wants to get up when like an hour before she has to, because she first wants to. She's only 10 years old, Trent.
She got shit to
Somehow,
do.
She's got skincare, and also she'll be
Oh,
damned.
sure.
She'll be damned if she's gonna wait for somebody to make her Pop-Tarts for her.
No,
Okay.
she's a grown ass tween.
Right. Well, I've got a ghost in the machine, Trent, because every morning
no.
when she comes down,
Oh no.
I can safely say it in this room because it's a different command, but she says, like, Echo, turn on the kitchen lights. The kitchen lights come on.
Yeah.
For some reason, the 2 damn bulbs in my bedroom come on too, Trent. And it's not if you come down and say, Echo, kitchen lights on. But if you say, Echo turn on kitchen lights, the 2 lights in the primary will light up.
Just that matter of difference
They
in
are
how
not
it's
associated directly with that device. They are not a part of a scene that is named kitchen. They are not part of a routine that is named kitchen. But for some damn reason, those 2 bulbs get activated.
Now, is it for anyone that says it that way? Or is it
Yes.
just the way
I
her
know,
voice
I'm
interacts
is
with
it
like
somehow the
right?
softer, more
Yeah,
delicate
that's
voice?
because that's the first thing I think of, right? Like
No, I was sitting like a madman in my family room looking at the app, and I said, okay, now you say it. My wife would say it. I'm like, it turned on. Hold on, now let me say it. Turn it off. What's that? Oh my God, it did it. I cannot trace it down. But I finally figured out the solution, Trent. I got 2 spare color changing bulbs that aren't the hue lights, and I'll be goddamned if these ones aren't just going in.
Yep.
Because they ain't them.
Yep.
And it won't come on no more.
Right.
It's really frustrating, though. It just the fact that something so simple I cannot trace down. I can't figure out where the problem is.
Or why? It makes no sense.
It doesn't. It's like these light bulbs have never been associated with anything but where they are.
I mean, like, yeah, and they all have their own MAC addresses on the network. So it's not like they're sharing an on-off switch at all.
And, if you just listen to the phonetics of it, okay, kitchen lights don't sound anything like master lights.
No.
No, that doesn't add up. So that's also a problem I'm going to be tracking down. And by tracking down, I mean just making
changing the
I've got
light
2
bulbs.
other bulbs. I can't take it anymore. Because it's like, it's the thing you dream of as a parent, Trent. The child is being independent.
Yeah.
They're taking care of business.
Right?
They're doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And, hey, guess what? I can sleep an extra 30 minutes.
Nope. No, you can't.
Bing! What is this? What is this?
Well, I mean,
madness?
I guess we can look at that silver lining of lemonade, Will, in that, if you have some hue lights, getting that color spectrum in the bedroom, you can get some of that mood lighting.
I've been married for 30 years. The only mood in the morning is I don't want to get out of bed and listen to everything crack. Okay? Is somebody having Rice Krispie treats? No. I'm just trying to put on my robe.
You just want everything to be, to support you when you get out of bed.
Look, man, it's a very humbling time. I leant down to pick up some spilled goldfish crackers once, and I was in traction for 3 weeks. You know what I mean? The back was just suddenly seizing up and all thrown out. The goldfish crackers aren't heavy, so I don't know what it was.
No.
So now it's just like, and every morning it's something new. Got out of bed the other morning, and I had this pain like on the last part of the top part of my foot and a little bit into my ankle. I'm like, well, that's new. I just got to wait for this to crack its way through so I can regain mobility.
God.
Yeah, no, but look, man, I'm still trying to determine if I'm getting crappy sleep or if our parents just never told us, after you get past a certain
you just
age,
stop. Yeah, sleep is never good again.
Sleep is, like, you remember when you were 22, okay? No, hell with that. You remember when you were 18.
Dude.
Okay, and you had stayed up all night, or you got to about 6 a.m., and then you would sleep till 3 o'clock, and you're like, oh, and you just go about what was left of your day.
All sleep was good sleep back then.
Right.
Right? There was never a bad sleep. What are you talking about?
And now it's like, oh, what do you mean I slept past 9? That
You know,
feels terrible.
It's kind of like, because I remember my grandparents, when they would come and visit, they would be up at like 5 a.m. just fine, like not tired, just like, well, this is when we start our day.
Yeah, it's called acceptance, Trent. That's what it is. It's just like, well, this is just the way it is. All right, well, I could do one of two things. I could bitch about it, or I could live my life, and I choose to live my life. I choose life, Trent.
I choose life. You're pro-life, Will.
Exactly. Look, let's not get into it. Although, interestingly enough, I do have on TikTok, I have a second account. And you know me, I don't, like, if there's any one thing this show has almost mildly to never been, it's like we've never really dipped into politics.
Yeah. Let
Because it
experts do
doesn't
that.
look. And I'm not a pessimist, but here's the thing. Okay, it doesn't matter unless it's at the voting booth. Okay,
Right, exactly.
That's the only place we can truly do anything. The person that's elected to the highest office in the country can only be removed by other parts of government. You know,
Right.
you as a people can't do squat.
Nothing you can do.
You can attempt to put pressure on
Sure.
politicians.
Yeah.
But,
It's why it's a republic, not a democracy.
Exactly. So it's just like, there's very little you can do. But like every once in a while, there is something that sticks in my craw. So I created this other account because, mind you, like here, everything's just hunky-dory
Yeah.
and robots. It's
Yeah.
robots and 3D printing and, hey, let me take a look at this tech gadget so you don't have to in case you don't like it. Which, by the way, have you heard about the Meraki espresso machine?
Wait.
Miraki, I believe. Trent, I have never thought about stealing $2,000 in this world, but I am contemplating. Easy. Remember, we're on TikTok. I don't want to get banned. Calm down.
Sorry, it's my bad.
Calm
folks.
down.
My bad.
Think about baseball.
Ooh, yeah, just a seventh inning stretch.
I saw this thing and I'm
outfield.
like, where has this coffee maker
This
been
is
all my life?
Rad, dude. It's got everything.
And then I saw the price tag, $1,799 retail. I'm like, okay. I don't care about the preset, but it's got independent boilers for the. Anyway, look, let's not get into the technology. But I literally just saw this thing right before the show, and I had to mention it because I'm like, oh my gosh. I have a Breville Barista Express, which is fine. I do okay.
Oh
by it,
yeah, absolutely. It's a great machine.
But I saw that thing, and I saw the gooseneck steam wand with the 3 holes, which, by the way, also has a temperature probe on the end, so it frosts to the temperature. Not an ad, by the way. We're not getting paid squat for this, but it'll froth the milk to the temperature that you set, and that's it. So no scalded milk, no chance of forgetting and it boiling over, right?
I'm blown away. It can maintain the level of pressure, because
Yeah.
that's the problem is as the water that you've put in for it to come through, the pressure is going to get less and less and less and less and less and less. So it's not going to be able to.
Yeah, it's the reason why the Breville Express, Barista Express, when you hear me like steaming, the sound you hear is a chug, 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 because it's constantly forcing more water in to try and maintain
that level of pressure. Yeah.
But that thing is an impressive machine. I have I thought I was stupid buying the Breville Barista Express at the price I did.
And now you feel like, oh, we got ourselves a deal on that.
Yeah, right? Well, no, I'm trying to justify how the hell am I going to come up money for this? It's going to be like one more Wilkins. How do we respin this into something else?
Oh, man, this thing is insane.
Yeah, it's nuts. If you want to talk about coffee technology, I just had to throw that in. It's an amazing machine. You can look it up, man. It is just amazing. In the words of our Lord, I think about the political talk. In the words of our Lord and Savior Justin Timberlake, "Cry me a river, oh cry me a river." Fair enough, man.
He's not wrong.
But in this case, man, that Barista Express thing, that is nuts.
So rad.
Right?
Oh my God.
Got to get that in my life. Anyway, Trent, look, man, we've talked long enough. I don't know what whole point I may have been hoping to transition to in the last minute. I'm not going to do it here. Why? Probably because it's getting long in the tooth and my magic mind has done its job.
Yeah, it got you through it.
And any second now, my watch is going to tell me, hey, if bedtime is this, it's time for you to start winding down, which means I might transition to the Magic Mind sleep juice too. It's not a juice; it's a wonderful
Will,
shot.
I'm gonna get a subscription, and then we can set up this thing where you're like, here, Trent, why don't you try one? And then I'll be like, oh, sure thing, Will.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, because I would pass it this way.
Yes,
See,
yeah. Oh,
wow, I've been doing this a while. I figured out like instantly.
I know.
I'm
still like, man, I don't know.
You know why? Because I just told my brain. I said we're going to go the opposite direction of what I think makes sense, which I should probably start employing in my life more. I might be happier. But
right.
you might be happier too if you go to magicmind.com/netheadlt20. You can go to that willwilkins.com to find the link as well. But that'll get you up to 48% off a subscription with my code. So please take advantage of it. I wouldn't become an ambassador for a product that I didn't believe in. And this one is one I believe in. So check that out. And don't forget, 8 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow. Something might be happening. Everything else you're going to find on the internet's going to piss you off.
Oh,
okay? There's
without
gonna be
a
just
doubt.
stupid things.
Yep.
And, to all the people that make the mistake of of like making fake announcements. Nobody likes it. I
No,
tried to
dumb.
warn you.
It's dumb.
Yes, but don't believe anything you see on the
It's
internet
mean.
tomorrow. Not to mention all the good stuff that used to come on the internet. All the good stuff that used to be available on the internet on April 1st is unfortunately gone. We've lived through eras now digitally, Trent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because it used to be with April 1st, my favorite thing for April Fool's Day was Think Geek. Because they would always put forth like four fake products, and eventually one of them would become a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the whole reason why the Tauntaun sleeping bag came into
Yes.
existence.
Yes.
They joked about it, and enough people said, "But I want it.
But we're take my money now.
Can I please have it?" And then they would say, "You know what? Yes, here.
Here's your
Tauntaun."
precious.
You know the problem with the Tauntaun sleeping bag, though, right?
The smell.
It only keeps you lukewarm.
Oh shit! God damn it!
You just stepped right into that. You even saw the dog ahead of you. You knew it happened, but still, you stepped right into it.
I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
I can't help you, man. I can't help you. But I can help everyone else by relieving you of us for now, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget, you can find out. Trent, tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on most of the internet's a part of him, especially the social media I use the most, which is Goodreads. Follow me on Goodreads. A part of him, I think, is what I'm at. Or if you're on the Steam, Prawn Cena, P-R-0-N_Cena, C-E-E-N-A.
Wait, hold up. What?
Yeah, prawn, like you write porn, but prawn,
No.
but with a zero, so Prawn Cena. I would say follow me on Twitter. Which is now called something else, except I tried to log in and it's today, and it's been so long since I've used it. They thought that me logging back in was someone trying to hack the account, so I'm locked out. So, and if you do hit me up on the Facebooks, which I've had a few people message me and stuff, my apologies. I will get back to you when I log back in eventually someday.
It's amazing the bane of our existence that passwords have become, isn't it?
Dude, it's like, send me a text.
Yeah. And if you're in the corporate world too, that's just another password that you have to remember.
Oh my God.
And heaven forbid you also have to access sensitive systems, because then
For-
you have to have the administrator account
Yep.
in your password.
Yep, and then you've got to be changing it all the time, and then you've got to double back up with your single sign-on and your verification apps and all the things.
You know, the funniest part about today's show that was one of the topics I originally wanted to talk about, might even be the description. I don't care anymore. But, you know, for absolutely positively no reason, Trent, you know, just completely random. You know, I thought it might be a good idea to review, like, what are the safe and secure messaging methods you could use? What apps could you use them like on your smartphone, right?
Sure, yeah, like
But then
if you had sensitive information you wanted to use to talk about without other people jumping in and finding out.
Yeah, just make sure there's end-to-end encryption, by the way, and don't use SMS at all, because it's in no way secure.
Oh, not even close.
I did this to be funny, Trent, but then you know what I discovered in the long run? Instead, what I did is I got terrified about the security of my phone by reading about this crap.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the
it
good
is
news
true.
is all of the hygiene I've been maintaining and the level of paranoia I've had has paid off.
100% founded. 100%
You know what I mean?
founded. Turn off your Bluetooth, folks.
Oh, jeez, man. It's amazing and terrifying. Anyway, you can find me everywhere, guys, on social media. I am that Will Wilkins. What does that mean? It means somebody else had the Will Wilkins, so I had to go that. So, okay, it was either the, because you can't say this Will Wilkins, because then it sounds like I'm demeaning myself. Right,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
Well, that's this Will Wilkins, but he's not that
He's
Will
not,
Wilkins.
or the Will Wilkins.
Right. You know,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there is the Will Wilkins, and that guy, he is, you know, on the grand curve of wills.
Yeah.
Apparently, he is like the most will there is.
Yeah, he's the most Will of the Wilkins.
Yeah, don't mind, ignore this guy. He's kind of a dick, but the other one, you know, he's good. When are we getting Rick and Morty, by the way? I want my Rick and Morty back. I need my Rick and Morty right
In the
now.
meantime, jump into Solar Opposites, man. It's a good time.
You know, I really need to, because I didn't go past the first season.
Yeah,
so
it's
I'll
good.
check that out. But in the meantime, I've got to hear, like, I think the guy's name is Scott Campbell tell me, you know, like, his name is Ray Kroc, and he's the most tenacious businessman on the planet. That's what I got to go do right after I get done editing.
Yeah.
So
Or throw it on. That's a good second screen viewer for you.
I can't do it, man, because I'm watching it with the wife. You know how that is.
Yeah, no, I understood.
It's like you're maintaining the throuple at that
Yep.
point, and neither one of you can touch the unicorn.
No, that's cheating, Will.
Yeah, you got to be together on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, guys, that's me. I'm that Will Wilkins on all socials. Please hit us up, youtube.com/netheads on air. If you're not seeing us there, be sure to give us a follow and all that jazz. Until next time, my name is Will.
My name's Trent.
And we'll be back
Soon-ish.
I mean,
Maybe.
eventually.
God willing.
No, man, it'll happen. Don't worry.
NetHeads. We'll be back soon.
Goodbye.
This has been a Smodcast production. Smodcast Podcast, using our mouths on you since 2007.
I'm not so sure I can play that on TikTok now that I think about it.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, using our mouths on you since 2000.
It is a double entendre, but
It is.
it's shame on them for thinking.